of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3 on the agenda, there's going to be a couple of changes there.
Okay.
Item 15 will be next week, as well as 16 on the budget.
On the 25 budget.
Yeah, will be next week. Haley's got the remainder of Myron's for item 16. So those are going to be moved to next week. Are there any other changes? Okay,
Not to my knowledge.
all right. Take a motion to approve them then.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna get into a habit, instead of all just saying aye at once, I think we should individually respond. That was a recommendation. So, Bremer's aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bierschenk, aye.
Thank you. How about the minutes? Did you get a chance to look the minutes over?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay. And I'll call for a vote. Bremer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bierschenk, aye.
Thank you. How about the claims, fellas?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
Okay. So, all those in favor, Bremer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bierschenk, aye.
There's a couple of them that were the ARPA claims. I think I passed them around.
Gary still got them.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to take a look at them yet.
All right, please do. They were also in our claims.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the ARPA claims.
Okay,
Second.
all right.
You want to list those out?
Want to list them, you say?
Yeah.
Would you read them off there, please, Gary?
Benton Municipal Utilities.
No.
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 That's the weed.
That's the weed department.
Yeah, it's the other two.
True North Consulting Group. 4428.
Should be the survey.
The tribal.
That was 3,500. Get Shelby's name on the front. Those are the two. We'll sort the paperwork out.
I
Okay.
don't have that one. Well,
They were there.
well,
Right there. Okay. All right. That's the one for 3,500. Okay, those two are
Who was it
mentioned.
to, though?
I'm sorry?
Who was the vendor on that one?
That is mailed to the, check payable to Flandry, Santee Tribe. Those are the two, so calling for vote, Bremer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bierschenk, aye.
Barb,
I'd like to set a land use hearing date for Jeremy and Brooke Higgins for Tuesday, February 20th at 9:15.
Can I get a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Tracy made the motion, Gary seconded. All those in favor, Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Deershank, aye.
Thank you, Barb.
Thank you.
Stay upright on the way back.
I will.
Keep your initials, please. These, do you want these individually initialed by all of us?
Just you, usually the chairman just did
How
it.
are you? Nice to see you. Take care.
I didn't know if you needed the ARPA ones by all three.
Nope, just the chairman.
Okay. Okay. Item 7 is appoint Sarah Wagner as member to the Iowa Heritage on Aging Council.
So be it.
Second.
Okay, Tracy made the motion and Gary seconded that. So call for vote, Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Deershank, aye.
And item 8, do we have a member for the ECOG?
I haven't found anybody.
Okay,
Nobody willing.
okay, so we keep moving that forward. How about, Gary, item 9, the Airport Belle Plaine Regional Zoning Board?
There's a question as to whether there needs to be anybody appointed to that, because I talked to Bruce Capster. He don't know anything about it,
Okay,
and he takes care of the airport down there. And I talked to yesterday Stefan Beck,
okay, Steve, yeah.
Belle Plaine.
Mm-hmm.
He don't know anything about it either.
Okay,
It's similar to like we do for Vinton. We have our appointments, but the city also does. So we do have one member that we can appoint to theirs.
They don't know anything about it down there.
It used to be John Stiegelmeyer, but I
Used
know he
to be,
doesn't want to do it,
correct.
so they probably just haven't been active in meeting. But
yeah.
Is that airport city-owned? I thought it probably was.
Okay. Well, maybe you could find someone to be on that board. Maybe Steve would do it. Steve Beck. You could ask him.
You don't know anything about it. I've already asked him.
That's no surprise. According to one member I spoke to, they've never had a meeting.
that's probably why they haven't.
Yeah, so,
I think the only time they do those is like when they're putting up a tower and they have to go discuss and do their,
I'm sure.
or their runways or that kind of safety stuff.
I guess I can ask him, but there ain't gonna be no meetings.
It's just a name, basically
Okay.
what it amounts to. Okay. All right, so you'll check on that, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Item 10, the Pioneer Cemetery Commission. I think the one in question was Rose Rouse. Couldn't get a hold of her, but I did talk with Wayne Shannon, and he says he knows for a fact that Rose wishes to remain on there.
Okay.
So you need a motion to reappoint her, I presume? I'll make that, okay. I'll make that motion,
I'll second it then.
okay? I'll call for vote, please. Primer, aye.
Aye.
Deershank, aye.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, we've got number 11, it's okay to move forward here with that budget?
Yep, and I sent you all that stuff.
You did,
And
you
it was
did.
gonna stay the same, I know.
Fellas should have the Benton Development budget request.
And she had that other attachment too. Did you see that?
I'm not sure.
Those two parts.
Let me get this stuff cleared.
Everybody's good.
See that one typo?
Yeah.
That was massive.
So that figured.
I printed everything off again, but I just should take her copies.
And stuff up,
That was a big chunk, but you can take this one.
776,000, I thought, hold on.
So go through it and see. Thank you.
So Haley, is this in addition to her regular
No,
budget,
it's the same
which is-
amount, she's just kind of going over some stuff, like she usually, if she's here to present it to you, she would
Okay.
share that. but-
Okay, so that,
Yep. She was out of town, but she knew we wanted to get our budgets all in.
mhm. Any questions on this?
None here.
I believe it's the same amount, correct?
Yep.
And we take those out of two places. Part of it comes out of lost, and part of it's general basic.
Good. Okay. Well, let's move forward. To discuss and approve a creating fund for EMS levy. It's a
Yep.
resolution.
It is. So with that being passed in November's ballot, I have to create a special revenue trust fund. And I want to get it done now so that I can build it into this budget. And it's going to be under fund number 0022. And then I put in here that it's for that 15 years. And that's partly why we needed to meet with the advisory council, because we're going to have to create bylaws and start deciding how we're going to divvy that money out, because it's not going to be apportioned like regular tax collections is.
Okay. Does this need to be read then, or allowed, or what? Or just
It's up to-
pass it?
I think just pass, it's Fund 22, and it's for the Emergency Services Trust Fund,
Okay.
but it has to be done by resolution. And then that'll be under one of our special revenues in the budget.
Take a look at that, please. Come on in and have a hot seat. If you would, please.
They have copies of it.
They have,
Yeah.
okay, good.
I would move that we pass resolution 24-8.
That's
second that.
EMS levy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, been moved and seconded. Call for a vote. Resolution, Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Beershank, aye.
Thank you.
Did you have time with the cookies?
Thank you.
I've never seen anything like that.
She sent me pictures. That's awesome. Do you want to do it again?
I stood outside.
Here's this as well.
All right.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning. You ready?
Ready or not?
I don't think we've done too much changes in our budget. Other than, I guess, now I'm gonna have to readjust my water and sewer. And I just went through a basic bill, and if we figure that total between the two buildings, it would be about $17,000 just for water and sewer. Of course, state still pays 30% of that, but,
Yeah. It's a dramatic increase.
so,
I haven't adjusted that on the.
we haven't adjusted it on the paper yet. But city won't come right out and tell us what they're gonna go with a rate, so.
Well, have they passed, had all three readings of that yet?
They haven't yet, but I'm assuming it's gonna change, it's just
That's probably why they haven't.
what amount's gonna be the part, and it's how do you figure for that?
Yeah.
And then other than that, we put salaries, I mean, we went 4% on salaries, so.
Sir. There we go.
And
Well,
then,
that's,
and then the other thing we got to think about is if I need to increase the amount we have in the line item for this building. I haven't increased that since I've been here. I don't think.
No, we've kept them all.
Yeah, we kept it all the same, but snow removal's getting more expensive and,
well, that varies year to year.
Yeah.
Obviously. This is an
And,
exceptional year.
yeah. And I didn't put in for soffit work because I didn't know where we want to pull that out of.
For here.
Yeah, for here.
And then the smoke heads.
Oh, the smoke heads, I need to do some work on the fire alarm system here. And we're trying to figure out what's the best route to go with that.
Just don't those all go up to the other building?
No.
No?
And this alarm panel, the panel's old enough, I can't tie it in to the jail.
So they're separate here.
It just goes off in the building and that's it.
This panel's an older panel actually, so there's not a lot we can do with it. So it's one of those, I can change smoke heads and not have it. If it calls out, it's gonna call out to a company, I can't have it go to the sheriff. Or if you think about eventually changing out fire system, then we can get it tied in to where to communicate down there. So,
Down to the fire station.
down to the
The
sheriff's
sheriff's
office,
office.
yes. Instead of paying a alarm company to monitor it.
How much would that cost?
What did I figure? What was that figured? It was over $100 a month to monitor. The one quote I got.
Think there'd be any grants or anything available for doing that type of updates?
No. Right now, like I said, when it goes into alarm, it just alarms here. That's it. Somebody has to call and tell us it's an alarm. So,
Don't go to the the sheriff's office or nothing, or the, fire department or anything?
No,
Somebody's gotta call it in.
Just goes off and,
goes off and, kinda like ours right now at the courthouse, but we're getting that one if we figured out what the issue is there. It's a programming issue, so.
well, imagine you get a quote from the same company, can't you?
Yeah, I can get quotes from companies. It's just what we're gonna have to decide what we wanna do, so that's just, if we're gonna upgrade the whole system or just change smoke heads out and leave it as is. I don't know what our insurance company is calling for.
I wouldn't have a clue.
No. But if we have it, it needs to work.
How does secondary roads work? Any clue there?
We've gotten called, I'm trying to remember how the calls come in on that. That might be monitored. We've had a call out there. That doesn't go down to this jail. It's it's going to a monitoring system. So they're paying for somebody to monitor it.
Well, I'd recommend checking out both then, you know, who secondary roads uses,
Yeah,
as well as, you know, the courthouse system.
Yeah.
It makes
Oh.
sense, it makes sense to have one system instead of having three. I mean, as far as who you're dealing with.
yeah.
Well,
It's-
right now they got two, so to speak.
Right now, the jail technically does the courthouse when it works.
Right.
So if we can add a new system and make it tie into that, then you don't have to pay for somebody to
monthly.
monitor it, yeah.
Mhm. But you've already got that going on at the secondary roads.
Yeah, yeah. So we can look at that. Like I said, I just never adjusted it. That just came around the other day, last week, so I never built anything into here for that.
We could ask Wacom Thursday during our meeting if there's any way they could tie it in with the monitoring on the radio system. Because all those
Oh.
are going into the office.
Because like I said, a new panel, though, it'll work through the Wi-Fi, work through the computer
Yeah.
and send it down there, but this old one, it has to go just on a radio read. So we can look at that, yeah. So that'll be the only things that come up that I don't have figured.
The sooner the better, so maybe we
Yeah.
could adjust it
Put it in.
before. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
okay.
And then we're supposed to ask about the line item for the Cedar Valley Ranch too, for buildings and grounds.
Yeah, we always budgeted for that, and I was like, didn't we change that in the last new lease agreement, that they have to cover their expenses, correct? I just want to make sure.
I
And we
don't
weren't giving them
recall.
that extra revenue back.
Windows and,
Yeah, there's,
Their responsibility.
Okay,
okay.
that's what I
So
thought, but I want to make sure.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with that line item?
We'll just zero that out then.
You don't want to leave it at like 10,000 for like the other ones,
We,
in case,
You
or
don't
is
think
it their
they'll be for an
problem, everything their
emergency?
problem?
okay.
All their problem.
Perfect.
And if there was that, hopefully we have enough cushion somewhere.
Okay.
If we had to, but.
Okay,
You zero that out.
yep. I'll change that.
Yeah, that's at least been 3 years, we put that on there from when Jerry come in and quoted us those windows.
Okay.
So do you think I need to put the water or the electric light and power up that
I think you're gonna
17,000
have to.
for now?
I don't know how we don't,
No,
I guess.
that's fine.
Without a doubt, it's gonna pass.
Yeah, and
Just a
like I
matter of
said,
how
it's-
much.
so if we figure on the high side, we might be all right. If we figure on the 2 times your rate right now, which is what people are saying,
It might help cover the one, but some of that we can pay out of loss too for that.
Okay,
so we'll just figure it at 2 times, and it's on the high side then.
Because it'll be both sides, water and sewer.
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
And they don't charge the same for this building and that building?
Usages.
Well, the rate,
The rate?
Oh,
the rate's way different between the 2 buildings,
Really?
yeah. Rate's a lot higher at the courthouse for sewer and water compared to here. Yeah. What was it? The water charge here is $3.18 a cubic foot. Water at the courthouse is $1.06 a cubic foot, so.
And we also use,
And then sewer's another charge on top of that, so. They're commercial rates, but they're two different commercial rates.
What about the clock at the courthouse?
I haven't heard from that guy lately. He was supposed to send me some specs on the wiring for it, for getting the switches wired in when he comes, but I haven't heard from him since. He's been behind, last I talked to him. That was
Yeah, I think you said. he was-
2, yeah.
Yeah,
But I told him I wouldn't care if it didn't come till spring, but he wanted it out of his shop, so. We'll see. It must be taking him longer than he thought.
okay, anything else, fellas?
you got any questions?
Do you have questions for guys?
No.
No?
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
And I gave him that invoice you quoted last week for the sound stuff.
Yeah,
Okay, good, good.
I just took that out of general buildings and grounds. So, money's, either way it's there. I didn't have enough in this line item to pull it out for over at service center, so.
Furnace at the courthouse is working good, eh?
Oh, yeah, chugged right along. It's working great.
That's good.
Works better when you can keep it running all the time, but temperature needs to get cold so it can stay on all the time.
All righty, thank you.
Okay, yep, I'll send it back as a revised version.
Thank you.
You bet.
Historic preservation is next.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing, Phil?
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank
I
you.
think we've got this.
Yep, and then I gave you the report that was in our plan too.
Sure.
So this is our proposed budget for fiscal year '24 and '25. The reason it's higher is you added 2 people to the Historic Preservation Commission board. And so the increase is really in the travel and mileage
And education.
and education. Theoretically, everybody on the commission should go to the annual event. It's held the last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of June. This year, it's at Mount Pleasant. Next year, we don't know where it is and probably won't know until late in the year. So it's both the registration and so on.
And that's another reason why our budget's higher, is because we don't know what those costs are gonna be.
Yeah, so this year it's at Mount Pleasant. I would expect next year it's going to be somewhere in western Iowa, central or western Iowa, Des Moines or, Council Bluffs or who knows what. Now, I should say, everybody doesn't go to the conference because, but for various reasons. One of them is other obligations. We do need to have at least one person go. Benton County Historic Preservation was on probation when I joined, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, for several reasons. And one was, I think, no one had gone to the conference for a while. And that's the way to get your county historic preservation commission on probation, by not participating.
Yeah, you lose your CLG. The certified local government thing.
So our project this year was, we need to do something for the community, and our project was, we had a kind of a celebration day at Youngville. It was a Sunday in October. We had a food truck, we had antique cars came in. The place was open. Their last serving day was actually the end of August. But, we had a special day in October, and it really went well. There were hundreds of people that came. The weather was great. A good time was had by all, and so on. And I expect we're going to do the same thing again this coming year. It was a fundraiser for them. We helped them, and by helping them, we helped ourselves. And we think we'll probably do that again next year. It was a pretty easy event to put together and so on. And, gave Youngville exposure. The people who eat at Youngville, right now Youngville's open one Tuesday a month. Tuesday, right? Not Thursday. It used to be Tuesday and Thursday, now it's Tuesday. And they tend to be, shall we say, a more senior crowd. There's a lot of people who've never been to Youngville. And by having this kind of open house event and that sort of thing, there were lots of younger people who got in there and got to see what the place looks like and that sort of thing, instead of just driving by. And it was good for them, good for us. And we think we'll probably do that again. We may do another project of some kind, and so on. A couple of years ago, we did a national event had three distant speakers from Nashville and that sort of thing, talking about historic preservation, and we had about 35 participants by email, by Zoom from around the country. That was a great event, great event.
And we had several in person also?
Yeah. So we're doing stuff.
It's good. Any questions, gentlemen?
None for me. If you want to get pictures of when Highway 30 was a dirt road,
I'm sorry?
Yes.
if you want to get pictures of when Highway 30 was a dirt road,
Oh, yeah.
they're down at the office, the road crew office down in Cedar Rapids.
Okay.
They're there.
Yeah. And of course, Youngville was all part of that. As well as there's another kind of dry, the old style gas station on a farm a couple of miles west of there, toward Belle Plaine.
Yep.
It's there. I don't know how well preserved it is, but it's a really interesting building. Shades from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thank you.
Okay, very good.
Appreciate it.
I hope you get out more.
Yeah.
Haley, do you have bids then?
Well, it's just set the bid opening date, but we have that at a time.
I'm sorry, set the bid
Yeah.
opening dates, okay. You got a date that he's looking for?
Yeah, you want to do that now, even though I have a timeline?
that's probably gonna fall under the 10 o'clock time, isn't it? Okay. All right.
Sorry. You could probably do number 19. Scott Hansen added that the last second yesterday.
Okay.
He said Tracy would know about it, the Iowa County and Benton County Tower. Is that right? Okay. So to enter into a 2080, it has to be by resolution.
We posted.
So here's the resolution, just basically summarizing it. And then here's the actual 2080 that it'll need signed.
I don't have to try it
Back
anymore.
to Scott. It's in that page. So Tracy can talk on that.
So this is with Iowa County?
Yeah,
Okay.
so are the radios. We got the new tower in Norway, the old tower in Belle Plaine, so you can line of sight, the two towers can hit each other, but they're worried about coverage on the south end of Benton County between Benton County and Iowa County.
Okay.
So like Hannah Lake, how the hills is and all that.
Yeah.
So what they come up with the idea on the 28E, since they already have the new radio system in Iowa County, we can put a receiver, right, Ron, on their tower to face north. So it'll be like a triangle then.
Okay.
Norway can hit Iowa County and also Belle Plaine can hit Iowa County, and it will bounce back and cover the low spots, they say, on the southern part of Benton County.
Same thing for Iowa County. They'll be able to put it on our tower and go back down and help them out.
So they're going to put a receiver on as well?
The SARA system is the shared area radio agreement. So the whole deal is so we can share these things back and forth and everybody gets a benefit.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
But it has to be in writing, of course.
Yeah, and this is the resolution, and this is the 2080 agreement.
So there ain't gonna be any area in Benton County that isn't covered.
It looks pretty good, but we won't actually know until they do their field testing, once it's all done. But, was it Mr. Brenner or Mr. Miller? Was here for a meeting one day and said if it doesn't work and meet the percentages they have set, that they will fix it until it does. I believe was his exact words.
That's good.
The thing that bothers me the most is the Hannah Lake area.
That actually, by their maps, does not look too bad. There's two little spots in a field north of Atkins, which were dead on the old maps. They've shrunk on these maps, but those two little spots are still there. And then some places going up along the Cedar River. They've shrunk, but there's still a couple spots that are still there.
Well, if we're in agreement with this, we need to make a motion to pass that resolution and to sign that 2080 agreement.
Move that we pass resolution number 24-9 and the 2080 agreement, intergovernmental agreement between Iowa County and Benton County.
Okay.
I second it.
All right, call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Here's aye.
should be the 2080 agreement down there.
Yep, and then that one just needs yours.
Yeah, okay.
Got 2 places to sign.
Slippery today.
Yes, it is.
I'm shaking my head.
Guilty.
Something's amiss.
Yeah.
Right there.
We'll just have to make a correction. Or you can take the job back, one or the other.
No. I'm happy right where I'm at right now. Same one on this one.
What
Okay.
is it?
Tracy's listed as chairman.
Scott, I can change that quick, so just as long as the 2080 is signed right now, Scott has to get that sent in. I can fix the
That would be
resolution.
Tracy, it says. Can I just cross through it?
I would say
You would say what?
that should be fine. I'll email Scott and see if he's around.
Well, then I'll do both of them that way. Is that okay?
Yep.
They said there's a problem outside in line. I don't know, the king said we're having a problem with a couple people out there, and I said I would get you.
I'll walk down with Jeff.
Just cross through them, printed my name.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks.
there you go. Thank you.
So at least I had it right on the resolution. Yeah, I think that'll be fine.
Well, I think we can do item 18, which is a letter that I am going to read regarding the Board of Health. If I may. Okay. I'd like to read this as a public statement of the Board of Supervisors, Benton County, Iowa. The minutes of 10/24/2023 meeting of the Benton County Board of Supervisors states, "We wish to clarify previous actions related to the Board of Health to clarify that the primary reason for the action was to reverse the 130% increase in the budget implemented by the Benton County Board of Health, and accordingly, we would ask the county attorney to release a statement. In order to provide the public accurate information about the work of the Department of Health, we wish to make the following statement. The Board of Health proposed a new structure for the department that the Board of Supervisors rejected. On the rejection of the Board of Health proposed restructuring, the Board of Health informed the Board of Supervisors that best practice to comply with state law would require the county to hire a second employee in order to ensure 24/7 coverage. The Board of Health clarified that it would have to come back at the time for budget amendments and would have to ask for more money to cover the costs of the second employee. Unfortunately, the number we initially reported was not correct, and most of the budget increase was covered by state grants. The actual additional cost to the taxpayers of Benton County was appreciably less than the numbers provided to us. The process that resulted in the termination of the Board of Health, caused confusion in the community, and sent mixed signals about the dedication or service of the members of the Board of Health. We regret that. Due to the Board of Health's assertion that the process we took leading to their termination failed to comply with the letter and spirit of Iowa Code Chapter 21, we pledge to implement appropriate processes and annual training to ensure that all meetings are conducted in accordance with the Iowa Code Chapter 21. We wish to thank the members of the Board of Health for their dedication, service, and their work which made a difference in the county. Each of the members volunteered many hours of their personal time, all for the people of Benton County. It's signed by the Board of Supervisors of Benton County, be Tracy Seaman, Gary Beershank, and Rick Primer.
Do you have extra copies of that? Because that girl asked me to provide one to her.
Did she? Okay, sure. Yeah.
I can't think of her name that left the news.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm slipping my mind, so.
Yeah.
Okay. How about any reports, fellas?
Wait till next week, I'll have a bunch.
We've got some coming up too. Tracy?
Had landfill last week. The excavator that they own down there had some cracks on the boom itself. So, and that's a Caterpillar. Got an estimate to fix it, I guess. And then the talk was the last 2 weeks about getting bids for used ones, and then even getting bids on new ones.
Had a crack on one of the pillars, you say?
No, the main arm coming off the machine.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So, I mean, it's,
that's probably not fixable.
I don't have them pictures with me, or else I could even show you pictures of the cracks, but. So anyway, the moral of the story is we got a bid from, I'm gonna butcher the name, Volvo or Volo, or it's the foreigner ones made in not made, but they got a dealership in Walford. And they accepted a bid from them for a brand spanking new one, 2024 model. It's sitting on the lot already down there in Walford, so.
Really?
Yep, so it'll be delivered within 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So,
Imagine that's a little spendy.
180,000.
What brand is it?
Trying to think of it. I don't even want to say, it's G something.
It's not a,
Volvo,
That's it.
VOLVO.
Yeah, that's it.
so they're not gonna have any trouble getting parts or anything.
I think Volvo, if that's what it is a well-known brand,
Yeah.
especially in the heavy equipment field there. So. Okay. Anything else, sir?
That's it.
Well, I too will have meetings this week coming out my ears. Yep. Well, I'll ask for any other old business.
I just wanted to circle back to, were you tabling the background checks? I had put the background checks on here. Haley had put the budget on here, but
Oh, I am
had
sorry.
asked her.
That was part of your,
Yeah,
just-
so I requested the background checks on here, and then,
Okay.
I don't know how the budget got on here, because I didn't request for that today. So when I saw that on here, I asked Haley if that could be moved, because I didn't put that on here.
All
But I
right.
did put the background checks. Did you want to table them both, or can we talk
no,
about the
no,
background checks?
let's.
That's okay?
We have time.
Okay, so we had talked about this, I think back in the fall, about having a company do our background checks. for the county law enforcement positions have a unique, have to do their own, but this would be for all the other positions. And so I got a quote. And a couple other counties use this company. It's called C4 Operations. They also have drug testing. So it's $23, and it shows you, it does the nationwide to get people that live outside of the county, the state, that sort of thing. So just to have that done by a independent third party is what I'm requesting, and it'd be $23 is the base cost. Sometimes if they find something, they have to dig deeper. You know what, I messed that up. Tracy, Rick needs that full one to sign, and you need the other one, sorry.
Good.
So that one is just thicker, it just kind of explains more about the company. The blue page, the blue sticky is where you would need to sign. I just gave you guys the price sheet to just show you the cost and what all it covers.
Do you have an extra one that goes for me, Sue?
I do not. I have the $23 if you want that,
Okay.
or I can get you one after the meeting. So anyway, just requesting that we do that going forward for consistency and confidentiality and for pre-employment background checks.
So how does that compare to what the sheriff's office does as far as background checks?
They're using open source.
What's that?
They're using open source to do this.
Explain that, open source.
If you get on a website and say you want to look somebody up, and it shows it's checking all these different files, that's the sort of thing they're using. I've got 3 people trained to do background investigations. They could do them for HR.
Okay. And is $23, it says here, Social Security number search, National Criminal Database with alias?
Alias, like if someone was
an
known as a
alias?
different name, an alias.
Okay. One live county criminal search, one live county criminal search?
Courts
So,
online,
huh?
courts online,
Oh,
basically what they're
so that's what that is, okay. National Sex Offender Registry search and nationwide federal criminal search. Okay. So additional criminal counties is $8. Motor vehicle record search says price vary per state, additional on base costs. So.
So we do the motor vehicle currently, we wouldn't be getting that. We
Okay.
have access to that at no charge. So it would pretty much typically be the $23 unless, they found something in another state, and some states or counties say, all right, you want us to dig deeper, get you these results, there could be some add-on fees, but
How long would you say it takes to do those background checks, Sheriff?
A basic like this, maybe an hour.
Okay.
Dispatch does the bulk of it. They run things through NCIC and National Crime Information Centers, and then they check what's called an NCIC 3, it's a fingerprint system. Sex offender registry pops up on a driver's license. And then we've got, those folks have another gateway into the courts online so they can see more.
Who?
The investigators,
Your people?
yep. We have to send them down a letter to get them. to open up the next piece so they can see more of it.
Okay.
We just need the information, name, date of birth, social security number.
Okay. So what would the advantage be to go into this?
The confidentiality aspect, you know, it would be like just trying to preserve the confidentiality of, you know, what somebody may have on their background, and then they become a Benton County employee, and then other employees, their coworkers, their colleagues have essentially seen or learned that information.
Sure.
And so by having an outside vendor that has no tie to the community and has no, you know,
Is it-
there's also a liability issue with regards to, I had somebody look at the current release. Well, I had this company look at the current release that we have, and there's some things in it that expose us to some liability because of how it's written. And so if we would say no to somebody based on what happened in a background, they then send the paperwork that says, you know, based on these findings, they send the letter of the person that's able to challenge it. Maybe they had their identity stolen. Just removes a lot of the risk and liability on the sheriff's department and on Benton County as a whole, because that third-party vendor is, you know, accepting all of that risk in their process and their vetting and certifications and everything.
Well, the cost is gonna be comparable either way. Wouldn't you say $23?
Yeah, I mean, these folks are at work regardless.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
And then the way they finish it, the way my people finish it is they write a report and sign their name to it. This is what we found.
How many of these do you do a year?
It would just depend on departments hiring. So like, for secondary roads, you know, last year, since I was here in July, this is the last 6 months of last year, do we do 3 or 4 for Myron, you know? So that would be 25 times 4, $100. You know, right now, we have an opening in secondary roads, an opening in county attorney's office. So that'd be 2. I mean, you know, we don't have a ton of turnover. So, again, the sheriff's office would still be doing those for their, you know, law enforcement personnel and their criteria for that. So it'd just be, you know, all the other departments.
Sure. Well, what do you think, fellas? Cost-wise, it's virtually the same.
The only thing that bothers me is the attitude.
Yeah, I asked around to some other counties that use them. I mean, that's pretty rare. You know, again, it would be different states. If it, you know, if somebody came from California and then, you know, they're like, well, that's an additional $10 to get this record, or, you know, that type of thing. It sounds like in the volume that other counties have experienced, doing beyond the 23 is not typical. They'd be one-offs. So, I don't, you know, obviously we don't know where we're going to get new recruits, if they're going to be coming from different states within the U.S. We don't know that, but I guess I tend to bet that they'd be more Midwestern, and, you know, we probably would not have those additional fees in the majority of the cases, would be my bet.
Like I said, that's the one thing that bothers me, where it says additional counties from address Cs reviewed $8 each.
Mhm.
So if somebody lived in, now, you would cover that the way it is right now. If somebody lived in Lynn County, Tama County, you would do the same thing, right?
Yep.
'Cause you can get on their records through their courthouse, right?
Yep.
same token, it frees up your people too, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much time.
You prefer not to use the sheriff's department, I take it?
Well, that doesn't make it sound very nice. I'm always happy to partner with the sheriff's department on things. I think in the interest of a liability standpoint, I think it's the best thing to do to have a third party removed that has, you know, they give us the release to sign that's been vetted. Again, our current release doesn't, is missing a few things, which legally we need in there. And so, and then when those laws change, because it does, you know, Fair Credit Reporting Standards Act, all those things change over time. It's on them to keep up with that and say, hey, you need to update your release. You have to now add this sentence when you're telling an employee to, or an applicant that they are giving you permission to run their background check. They're updating those releases. So, you know, that's not on us to make sure. If you have somebody sign something and we didn't have some verbiage in there, technically they can come back and say, hey, you had me sign something that's illegal. You shouldn't have run this, you couldn't have run this, or you owe me this, or, you know, if they have a question about it, they can get the background through them. And again, we don't have to go through legal and say, hey, are we authorized to give this to them? How does this work? They take care of all that. So I guess I just think to, you know, put us in the best position to make sure we're keeping up with the laws of that. Liability-wise, I think it's the best option, and just to preserve confidentiality of people that may be applying for positions within the county and not having it where others might know them.
Now, there is no fee to start this, right?
No,
We just,
no contract or
he signs
anything.
in on it, and then it's 23
Yeah,
bucks.
I mean, you're just signing, agreeing that, yes, we'll use these services, we'll use their form, we won't create our own, that's what you're signing to there, but they believe they want to earn our business. So if we do it and we're not happy, the fees seem to add on, they're more than 23 consistently, or they're not giving us a 24-hour turnaround on results or anything like that, and we just say it's not working out. Yeah, we're not committed.
No timeline on the, when we sign that?
Like, what do you mean by that?
Year?
No,
Yeah,
I mean, if you do it, we
Whether
do.
For a year, or,
Yeah. We're just saying we're gonna use their release, that we're gonna follow their
okay,
guidelines. If we run 3 of them, 2 of them, and, you know, it took too long or whatever,
Where
then
are
we
they
just
based out
say,
of?
you know what, we're gonna go back to the way, or we're gonna look at a different vendor.
where are they based out of?
Cedar Rapids.
Cedar Rapids.
And on a side note, Myron and I also talked to them about drug testing. They offer that service too, and they're a little bit cheaper than our current vendor. I haven't circled back to him to see what his thoughts were on it, but we might be switching to them for that as well. They offer some nice features with that, as far as willing to come on site to do our randoms, rather than our people having to scatter everywhere.
Last question. On the application, applicants, who actually pays, whose budget pays for this, the 23? Does it come out of your budget, or does it come out of the person that they're applying for secondary roads? Who's
I-
gonna flip the bill?
I had asked for a line item of that on my budget.
Okay.
It's kind of like a recruiting, pre-employment type HR, I think. So when we do my budget, you'll see that I had asked
Okay.
for a line item of that on there.
Makes sense.
Right.
What do you think?
We can try it.
So is that your motion to,
All right, that's my motion.
okay,
I'll second it.
all right. I'll call for a vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Earshake, aye.
Thank you.
Then you need this signed.
I just, where that blue sticky is, yep.
Then you'll give it, you need to give
Yep.
Haley a copy if you've got an extra there. Hope you did it right.
I'm sure you did.
You'll see it. Okay. Okay, how about setting bid opening date?
Okay, thank you. Sorry. So Myron would like to set that for, let's see, the bids will be due on Monday, February 12th, 2024. And then they will be opened here Tuesday, February 13th, 2024 at 9 a.m.
February 13th,
Yep, so that will be our,
9 a.m.?
mhm.
Okay.
But they have to be received in my office by 8:30 a.m. on Monday, February 12th.
Okay. All right.
And then if you approve that, here's this letter for you to sign.
When I read that, I did notice that there's only one date for the, it's, what is it, March of this year is the only date for, and it's a 3-year lease. You need to have those dates scattered out.
Oh, that's,
Whoa,
you're talking
whoa,
Cedar Valley,
whoa,
right?
whoa,
You're talking the
whoa.
farm lease. This
Yeah.
is Myron's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. This is to set, this is on the
Bridge.
bridge replacement project?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so it's to set the date for the bid letting of February 13th at 9 a.m. Can I get a motion on that?
Yeah.
Okay, how about a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Call for a vote, Primer, aye?
Tim and I,
Beer shake aye.
Okay,
And our signatures.
all right. You want today's date on here?
He has to get his notices ready. And then, I don't know if you looked at his budget sheet, I highlighted on there what amendments we're gonna do for his. I'll summarize them real quick. We're talking current fiscal year, because I need that to publish in the paper.
Okay. Who's this here?
Thanks.
Thank you.
maybe what you were talking about earlier. What do you see wrong? Read it.
Okay, you highlighted these, you say?
Yep, and the engineer's budgets for the current fiscal year '24. I can just go over them for you.
That would be
There's
wise.
like 5 line items. So he needs to increase pipe culverts from 10,000 to 75,000. I think it's on page 4, it's
Yeah.
the first one.
Uh-huh,
See how I highlighted it?
yep.
So there's the increase of 65,000. And then I think it's on the next page or 2 after.
You got the same page.
Box culverts,
Bridge and road maintenance, road and bridge maintenance.
see what line item it was. Culverts. 432. Oh, but it's actually box culverts, I see what you're saying on the
Oh,
front.
okay,
Yep,
that's what that is?
yep, but, so that's going from 20,000 to 75,000.
Okay,
And then motor vehicle parts, it might be on page
You
6 or
guys
7.
finding these? Okay.
So we're increasing motor vehicle parts,
On page 6.
yep, from 305,000 to 335. And then his fuel and diesel, he's increasing that from 275 to 350,000. And then chains, he's doubling that from 35,000 to 70,000. So I'm putting that in my notice for the fiscal year 24 amendment. Then you can actually go over more on the hearing, but I need to know for my publication, which is going to the paper this week.
So it's like $260,000 increase on those amendments. Yeah. All right. So what do we need to do on that?
It's just more or less informal. I'm putting it in my notice.
Information?
And then I'll list it out in my
Okay.
amendment request from the different departments.
Okay.
On the diesel fuel, is he using more or is it higher priced?
I would assume probably both are with our snowplow drivers running nonstop lately.
Yeah, I imagine it's through the roof.
Yeah.
It's like the sheriff's office, you know. How do you second guess those costs? Well, well, we have a couple minutes here. I'll ask if there's any citizen input.
Just a couple of quick things. Tracy, you were on the landfill commission. I was just curious, rough ballpark, I wouldn't hold you to it, but how much cash are you guys sitting on? How much, your budget money wise, what do you usually, how much are you sitting on right now, the landfill commission?
As for total,
Yeah, just a total ballpark figure. I wouldn't hold you to it. Just-
I can't even tell you all the exact numbers because we got our budget is one figure. We put away every month, I believe, and there again, don't quote me on the numbers because I don't have the figures with me, like about $48,000 a month, every month, to line items for replacing things. From pickups to excavators, to packers, to tarp rollers. I mean, we have a line item and then we have a date when it's supposed to be fully funded for that individual, like the bulldozer or whatever. In 5 years, it'll be fully funded. That we can just turn around and pull that out of that fund and replace it brand new without touching the budget. That's one thing. That's every month. And then, of course, we got the bills to go along with it. And then, as for total, it looks like we got a lot of money because we got all the closure, post-closure that the DNR says we have to put money aside every year for the landfill that we cannot touch. We can operate with the interest that comes off the closure, post-closure. And what that is, when the landfill closes, that money sits in an account for 30 years in case there's any problem where that landfill is and everything, the money's there to cover the problem. So like I said, I can't tell you exact dollars without, I can get you a copy of that. I'll bring it next time I come up here next Tuesday, and you can take a look at it, and it's pretty well self-explanatory what everything is.
That'd be great, thank you. And other thing is you had read that, your letter for the Board of Health. I would like to know a dollar figure, what that cost, the county, the taxpayers, because it's gonna cost money. Because you brought in an extra attorney, there's other things. There's agreements that have probably been made with stuff. I would like to know what the dollar figure
There was
cost
actually no cost to Benton County.
So, okay, then where did that come from then? To pay for all
Insurance
this stuff?
company.
The insurance
Department of
company?
Insurance.
So no different than, no disrespect, Tracy, but your insurance rates will probably go up because of that. Are
They
your
said
rates gonna
not.
go up because of that too?
Nope, they said not.
Okay,
No.
okay. Thank
Good
you.
question. Yep.
Rick, when would I make my request? Or,
You can ask now.
okay. You guys apparently appointed Jimmy Wheeler and then turned around and took him off.
And as I told you earlier, that was because
Right.
it, I was under the assumption Wendy did not wish to continue. She corrected me and said she would like
Right.
to go,
Yep.
continue. So, I informed Jim and he was okay. He didn't have a problem with that.
Well, since it's so hard for us to find people with interest in it, we would like to continue involving him in the commission.
But that's going to affect your budget then.
We added that in there. That's including him. Since when we were working on the budget, we were unclear whether he was still on or not.
Is there a resolution or something that states how many people are on that board?
There's a resolution, yes, and I don't remember the number, Haley.
It's been a while ago, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we can have up to 10 members.
Okay.
I think
How
you're
many you
right.
got on the board now?
There's 6, and Jim would be 7.
Well, sometimes it's nice to have an odd number just to break a tie.
Yes, it is, yes. And it's hard to find people who are interested in doing stuff,
Mhm.
especially historic preservation.
Okay.
So I'd like to include him going forward if we could.
Would we need to do anything special as far as to add another member?
I think you would just have to make sure you appoint him.
I'm
But I
sorry?
would like to, you'd have to make sure you verbally appoint him since we removed him last week.
Right. How about I check with him first?
Okay.
Okay, and then,
And then I'll find that old resolution.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't remember
not
what
sure.
year that was, it was way before.
Yeah,
If you had a year, we could search the minutes, but
okay. I'll reach out to him.
okay, thank
Okay.
you very much.
And if that's the case, then we'll put it on the agenda for next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
do you want me to put those other 3 on there next week or wait until you,
Let's wait.
okay,
Yeah,
just
Wait
put
till
that
we
one on?
actually find some person.
yep. And that gives Gary a chance to check and you a chance to check and, yeah.
What I'm gonna do is talk to that gentleman that's down at the airport about half the time. He'll probably go on.
Oh, well, there you go.
He's not gonna have any meetings. this here that there's a payment of 50% to be paid by March 15th, 2024. It's a 3-year lease, but they don't have any other times.
You're referring to the
Farm lease?
Yeah,
farm lease?
we need to have the payments spelled out. The 50%.
But we don't know what it is until those bids come in.
Right.
So he's talking about 25 and 26.
Oh, for the years and when they're
Yeah.
due?
Yeah,
I think that's in the actual agreement that they sign when we draw up the lease.
okay.
At least that's how we did it last time. That's just the actual notice for the paper to bring in the bids.
Okay.
But if you want to change, Ray looked it over. He did have me change the very last sentence, something about the sale. I put the sale final or whatever. We changed it to lease. And I did email that to that gentleman that inquired on it. And then it's going to be scheduled in the paper the week of like February 13th, I think.
Okay.
And then I can post it on the website now if you want it. Or is it too soon?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were gonna just put it in the,
I put it in all the official ones, that's what you have to do.
I understand that, but I didn't know whether to have a special ad, or just in the fine print on the back.
The live wire will probably do it in the square ad, I bet,
Okay,
because that's how it's gonna go in here.
okay, that'd be great.
I got a call on it yesterday, wanted to know when they were.
I had
Do
that too,
it.
that's what made me get that draft going.
And then change the last.
That sale to say.
Yeah,
lease.
from the sale
Yeah,
to a lease, okay.
I already did that. When do you guys want to get some stuff scheduled for wages and that?
We should probably get that on
I just kind of like to have the lump
sooner
sum
than,
because of
later.
February 8th, so we know what our levies will be.
yeah. I mean, we should be able to get that on now, can't we?
Well, next
I
week
mean,
we have
next
the
week.
last couple departments presenting. And then the following week could be February 6th, or we could have an extra meeting that week or something. For budget work.
I don't know why we don't just get it on for next week. You know, this is for the wages, right? Yeah.
On all of them, elected and on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put it towards the end so everybody's had a chance to present.
Okay. We're just waiting for the clock to tick, Sheriff. Sorry.
I'm good with it.
holes punched.
Forget to on the new one.
No.
Is that the sheriff one this morning?
This is the treasurer's. For some reason, it's
Ron and I were tweaking his this morning still.
you got the revenue side, but the other side's not punched. I'll get it.
Didn't you have one in here that you bought? 1200?
These are extras that I did.
I'm sure I'll regret. It's so weird that it's all snowy, but it's also raining. It's very strange. And it mustn't. Oh.
Give this back to you, Haley.
Thank you.
Is that where my name goes or yours?
That's where your name goes.
Okay, well, I signed it too, so
Okay.
just making sure.
Yeah, you're the authorized representative.
Okay, there you go.
Big important job. Thank you.
Well, Sheriff, you ready?
Yep. Haley, they've got the latest and greatest with all the
This morning.
discovered yesterday, late afternoon, that I had double tapped a couple zeros in one spot. So instead of a $5,500 line item, it was 55,000. Said, we're gonna have to fix that one. Just looking for the big changes here. Motor vehicles in, 1,051,635. We're looking at everything is in an SUV or a truck chassis now. So I'm looking at a 5-year turnaround on them instead of a 4. So if we do 3 a year, it takes 5 years to replace them all. And that should pretty well.
What was that number, please? 5 what?
1,000,635. Should be on the first page.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 up from the bottom.
Motor vehicle, okay.
That's, we're allowing for 3 a year. That's the one that had the $55,000 gas in it that we corrected. Page 2. There's no big changes anywhere. That covers Page 1 is patrol, and then it starts at the bottom with the investigations. And then page 2 moves over into the investigations. The biggest change you see in the investigations is in the overtime. That's one of the things, Haley created a new line for us yesterday. So the money coming from the DEA goes back, it's what you call it, pass-through.
It's with that one employee.
They
that
repay
gets
us and we
reimbursed.
just deposit it back in. Page 2 continues, it covers the rest of the investigations. Then it moves into the dispatch, and then it starts in the jail.
Dispatch salary's gonna be like the 630,000.
Yep,
Yeah,
nope, that's the jail.
that's jail.
That's jail. Dispatch is 576. Jail's the 632. The big one that's throwing us out of whack there is the food for the groceries. We are working on a new agreement with the Marshal Service to house a few more people for them. In return, they're gonna pay us more money. We are gonna do transports to the federal courthouse. They are gonna pay the mileage and our time to do those. The extra money for the housing of all the prisoners would then go back in the, hey, they made us a line to put the money back in there for the food and provisions and the mileage and,
It'd be on the revenue side.
yep, be on the revenue side. That would go back in for the, it's a pass-through, once again, just reimburses the
Do we do
account.
that quarterly?
Yes, we do those quarterly,
It's kind of like we do with the mental health employees.
yeah. The third page continues in with the jail. There's no, the only other one I would have to change would be the city bill, which is all gonna come under electric, light, and power. And that one, not knowing what to do with it, I didn't change it yet.
About sewer and water.
That's in that same bill.
Okay.
You don't know how that's separated out.
I can separate it out, I was just kinda waiting, is it gonna double or not quite double?
It's supposed to go about 200%. So that's more than double.
More than double.
Yeah, it's almost like a triple.
So that one I'll have to go back in and adjust that. That's the only one there. I did budget for Karen Utoff. She is she's my private secretary and office administrator in the civil department. I'd be asking for the 4% raise for Karen. Page 4.
No, that's on page 3.
That's on page 3. She would be in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Admin side.
7. 1, 2, 3. She's 6 up from the bottom.
Oh, office.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the other office is for the other two ladies.
That's the admin, the
Yep.
one right under that.
Yep,
What percentage did you figure there?
4. Everything was figured 4.
You figured 4% on,
Yeah, those positions are in the union.
So on all other than the union, right? Is what you put for.
Everybody's union. All the positions are covered union,
even in the office?
except for Karen.
Okay,
She's not a union
so
position.
your deputies or
Deputies are union,
jailers?
jail, dispatch.
Dispatch, okay. And the union called for a, what percentage?
4.
4%.
So there's no other big changes anywhere there. The big changes come in the general supplemental. Under, starts at the bottom of page 4 and continues through page 5. There has always been these are line items that I don't code anything to. This is for all the benefits. There has always been a large excess in the health insurance one.
And that's because in case you hire and they take
Yeah.
family versus single, et
Yep.
cetera.
Okay, so I see you dropped that,
Then there's still enough to pay.
okay.
Because there was a large excess, and from talking to you guys, I knew some other departments we're not looking at doing anything that large.
Okay. Then why would your re-estimated for 23-24 be the same, the 265?
Where
What's
you
your
at?
year-to-date on that page 4?
Page 4,
It just carried over, he hasn't told me to change that one.
I don't see where you're at.
All right,
It
here.
was second from
Second
the
one from the
bottom.
bottom.
You didn't change any of your re-estimated columns, I don't think.
Okay,
No, yeah, I didn't change the re-estimated, I just changed the budget request.
okay. Well, that's good. Went down.
And that pretty well carries it through. There was no, I have 3 different, figures on the hypers that we have to use. There was no changes. And of course, the wage changed, so that all changes, but the percentages themselves did not change.
On page 5, you've also got reductions in your health insurance, 2 different categories
Yep.
there.
Those had large excess in them.
Okay,
Well, that money had just always been turned in. I don't code anything to those, that function 02. Is that the function number?
1040?
Any of them. That's,
Looks like it's been that way. Well, just last year you increased it.
that we,
So that one could come down for the re-estimated too.
yep,
okay.
So you and I need to sit down and do that because maybe we don't have to put as much as your fiscal year budget
Okay.
amendment this current year then, so we can take it from.
okay. Nothing else changes greatly in anything. So the bottom line should be fairly close.
Looks less actually.
Yeah,
Should
looks
be a
like you
little
went
less.
from 6 million down to 5,000,007,
Should be less.
almost 8, yeah. That's primarily because of the insurance.
Yep.
Mhm.
And we're gonna clarify a little bit, so like when he says he gave back, and that's kind of what I always hear people say, explain that as, they're giving it back. Well, not really, because if you look at our overall levied, what we're bringing in for revenue is always less than what we're expending, if you look at the worst-case scenario. So when he has a cushion, that's just for worst-case
Yep.
scenarios, if he had to hire all
And
these
they
people.
were, I think the cushions were,
Right, so it's not meaning I'm levying for that extra dollar amount, because we're still at the max, but
Yeah.
that's just that reserve that we're not spending.
Sure.
I just think that I could bring the cushion back.
Right.
There's still some cushion there, but,
I mean, you gotta have a
Those-
little cushion, like you said, because you just don't know.
but
Sure.
nothing like it was.
No, no.
Okay.
But I'm just explaining that, so it's not like we're fluffing our budgets to spend it, and it's just some of those line items are important to have a little cushion versus others.
Okay. Well, looks good.
And then on the revenue side, contract law enforcement, that is for the law enforcement part. The surcharge, that's for the tickets issued. We get, I think we get $5 a ticket. If the county has, I have to research that and see if we've done the paperwork to get the $5 a ticket.
Yeah, because year to date, you only have 52
Yeah,
bucks.
yeah, and I know that ain't right, I know that's not right.
Something's off.
I thought of that last night.
Yeah.
Care of prisoners, that's the room and board. The work release, the prisoner room and board 60%. That's collections through the county attorney's office. Yeah. I don't see anything else there that's.
Your weapons permits, so you,
What?
that increasing your salary.
We still do weapons permits every day.
You're projecting that you're gonna do almost double your income?
I'm gonna guess I meant that,
8,000 people.
I'm gonna guess I meant that to be the 8,500.
Okay.
I mean,
Needs to be closer to that 80. Well, there's
well, that
been,
one year you had 15,260,
Yeah.
so.
I don't see it getting that big again.
Okay,
I see us kind of holding our own there.
okay.
The other increase is the radio operators. Last year we did that on, so last year, Tracy? We did, or was the year before? It's on a per capita rate, what the city of Belle Plaine, Vinton, and Urbana pay for dispatch.
Yes.
The fire and EMS, there's no charge for any community. And then the sale of capital, that's that. I'll have a few more cars to sell here shortly. The big number there, the 25, that's the rescue truck. And that takes us all the way through.
My question is, though, a couple of questions, I guess. Atkins, you know how we've been dealing with them over there?
Oh, yeah.
I don't see anything in here for an extra patrol car.
We haven't come to an agreement with them. I would like to I'll contact Bruce and see if they're ready to make a move. We have sent a letter out to meet with all the cities on our actual, we are charging $32.50 currently for contract law enforcement. That nowhere covers costs. So we're gonna sit down and show and explain them what the actual costs for this are, and then renegotiate those.
Next year, right? You're gonna let the contracts that we just signed, he signed.
Yeah, those are good through July.
So is Atkins gonna have their own car after July?
No. They want more coverage. And they're willing to pay costs to do that.
The letter he's gonna send out, he's gonna have to get it out there so they can do their budgeting.
They've already got it. We're gonna try to get the
Okay,
meeting
they've
set up
already
for
got it.
next
Now you're gonna
week.
get meetings set up?
Yep,
For when?
I hope next week,
Okay,
if that works,
Because they're gonna be budgeting too.
okay.
because we wanna get that out quick,
I think,
so they know what's coming.
yeah,
You know, we've got a couple of the real small towns, they're at a half hour a week.
yeah.
Mount Auburn, Luzerne.
I know that was brought to my attention here, and I stuck up for you. I'm sure it's that way, but I wanna make sure when they're serving civil papers, that does not count on the time that they're supposed to be working in that town, correct?
Don't believe so.
Right,
If they serve a paper and they remain in town, then it starts.
okay,
We do keep track of where the papers are served, of course.
okay. All righty. That about it?
You have on your revenue first sheet, you had estimated for miscellaneous refunds up to $60,000, but your year-to-date's only $520, and you've left it blank. I'm guessing this
If I knew what that was, Rick, I'd
really doesn't look like it's gonna be $60,000.
know.
Let me
Yeah.
go back and see what the 112 was.
Yeah, see, and I didn't put anything in the request. So, yeah, I have no idea what that 112 was.
Okay. Because 21-22 was 124,000.
Yeah. I don't know what. 848 miscellaneous refunds.
Unless you thought that was gonna be the rural access center back when we were back and forth.
No, that's down there under 847 with an 095.
Just kind of curious.
It's two of us.
There's some big numbers. There's little activity this year, and then it's blank.
Looks like it was community schools,
Oh, yeah.
back and forth from the officer, because we don't do that anymore, correct?
Well, we're going to.
Okay, so you're going to do it, you're gonna have to put in an estimate. then.
I'd name it and do something
Yeah, that'll be,
separate.
well, that's one of them that you built for us.
I was gonna say that's, because we want to track that differently.
Yep. It won't come in on the, it'll be the pass-through thing again.
Okay, okay. Well, same thing with your contract law enforcement. You use the same number, but you sent a letter of an increase.
Yes.
I mean, it's, I get
That
it.
we're talking of an increase with.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep. And there's no sense counting your chickens till they hatch.
exactly.
I get it. Okay. All right, good.
I have no clue where we're gonna
Yeah.
sort out in the end.
Okay, all right. Very good. Anything, gentlemen, for you?
I've got all my questions answered.
Okay.
Thank
I think we're good. Thank you, Sheriff. Is there anything else, gentlemen?
Nope.
Okay,
Move we adjourn.
Second,
all right. Call for a vote, Primer, aye?
Team and I.
Your Shanghai.
All right, thank you.
That was a good catch there, Haley. I thought, wow, what have we done? 848, it makes sense. We had to show it coming in somewhere. So it all went to the same place.
Yeah, because you had it under, if you look at the functions, at a 1,000 versus 1050.
Get that meeting set up, Sheriff, I wouldn't mind sitting in on
Okay.
that.